Alright guys, so let's start. In this video tutorial I'm going to be showing you guys how you can program your beats using Ableton Live. So let me just start everything from scratch by the shortcut Command N to create a new live set on Ableton on a Mac. And if you are a Windows, simply hit Control N. Now I'm going to be deleting these tracks because I don't need them right now. And then I'm going to be simply dragging this drum rack from here to here. So we are ready to put our samples in here. Now I'm going to be selecting a simple kick and I'm going to be simply dragging it from here to here. Note, if you are basically producing electro house or club electro, you should basically set your tempo to 128 beats per minute. And if you are producing say trap or hardstyle or drum and bass, you should select your tempo to 140, 145 to 170. And for now I'm going to be setting the tempo to generalized 128 beats per minute to make a 4 to the floor dance beat kind of rhythm. And I'm going to be simply dragging samples from here to here. So this looks good. This is a good kick. It's a very tight kick, so I'm going to be using this. One thing you might observe is that whenever you add samples to this drum rack section right here, these samples get assigned to the keyboard keys on your keyboard, or the keys on your MIDI controller, or the drum machine you're using, or the launch pad you're using. So that becomes handy sometimes. Now I'm going to be selecting my claps. For this I'm going to be you know searching the Sounds of Kashmir volume 2 because I really like the amount of claps this guy has added. So these are the claps. This looks good. Now I'm going to be adding some cymbals. So this is the closed hi-hat. So simply drag that from here to here. And now I'm going to be adding some open hi-hats. This looks good. Oh. Now you can see that the keys of your keyboard are assigned to the samples, like A is to the kick, W is to the clap, S is to the closed hi-hat, and E is to the open hi-hat. Now we're going to add some crashes. I think there is a lot of reverb in these crashes. We don't need reverb if you want to make simple 4 to the floor dance beat. So cut that for now. I'm going to again go back to Manova and I'm going to search some rides now. I need some crashes. So yeah, still this guy has added a lot of reverb in volume 1. So okay, we will edit that later. Let's just simply drag this over here. So we have the crash. Now we are going to add some percussions and add a high percussion. No, not this one, not at all. This looks good. And now some low percussions. Some snares. Basically, you have to imagine a drum machine and you have to basically, choose the parts of the drum machine and simply add them to the drum rack. Let's take some tight snares. Okay, so we have the basic parts of the drum set. So if you just want to get a basic idea of what type of beat you're going to produce, you should simply hit the keys on your keyboard to which the samples are assigned. So like I'm gonna be hitting the A and W and ASW. Okay, whatever. So we have some good amount of samples here. So now I'm gonna be selecting this block here and I'm gonna be simply double clicking it. It will create a clip here, and I'm gonna be making the length to 2 bars. And let's just press press the B button on your keyboard to you know enable the drum mode. So now let's write our beats. So if we are working on 128 beats per minute, and you have to basically make a 4 to the 4 floor dance rhythm. So let's just make the kick, and let's just play that. Okay, so let's just add some claps. Some snares. Let's just add some variation over here. And what some producers do, they also add a closed hi-hat with the kick that gives a very snappy kick feel. So this is how it sounds. It's basically coming out of the mix, but we're going to mix it later. I'm just first I'm going to be writing these writing a rhythm. So let's just also add some percussions. Oh yeah. Now let's make the beat more catchy. Let's just increase the length, and I'm going to be duplicating the Command D, and you have it back. I forgot to add a ride. I need a ride. 1 minute. Let's just add it right. No, this guy has again added a lot of reverb. Let me just confess something. You know, the sample packs I'm using right now are for house, are for big room house, moreover, and some traditional electronic music. So, and we are working on the uh, songs on the beats which are moreover, used in moreover played in clubs. So the samples may differ, but you should basically go with the club sample pack if you want this type of progression. So let's just, okay, this is a good ride. I'm gonna be using this. Okay, so let's just go back to this place. I don't know what this is called, but yes, let's just add some rides. Now I'm going to mix these. So the kick, I don't think there is a need of mixing the kick, but still we are going to add a compressor. There is a small arrow over here. You should click this, and all this makes a mini mixer out of this drum rack. So you can basically simply mix your samples inside the drum rack. Also, you can add some effects if you want. So what's this? Okay, this is a clap. This is a crash. What's this? I'm just mixing my samples. I personally don't prefer, altering the kick because sometimes it screws up your mix. So, but still, for the sake of music production, we are going to mess with this guy. Just, I'm gonna be adding a compressor over here. So set the ratio to 8:1, lower the threshold. I'm gonna be, you know, posting, soon I'm gonna be uploading a new video about compressors where you can just simply check out what these guys do. Also add a limiter. Sometimes this guy, just ruins the mix. This won't allow the output of the compressor to uh, go ahead 0 decibels. Okay, you have to add you have to necessarily add a compressor over the clap because this guy takes a lot of place over the frequency spectrum. So again, set the threshold nearly to 3.15. Sorry, the ratio to 3.15:1 and threshold to uh, -6 decibels will work good. Increase the gain. Well, in simple words, basically compressor controls the dynamic range. And if you want to know what the hell dynamic range is, just Google it out. Okay, so we have the mix ready. So on the master drum rack track, we are going to add, oh my god, I added a compressor over the master track. Sorry for this. We had to add the compressor later. So this is a classic clap. I had to add the compressor over here. 6 is to 1, no, 3 is to 1, 3.15 is to 1, and the ratio to -6. Now the master channel on the mixer, the levels on the master track over here are red. So this means output, our output from channel 1 is greater than 0 decibels. So we have to fix that without basically losing the quality, the integrity of your samples. So here the EQ compressor and stuff like that comes handy. So now I am going to add add uh, add some EQ over the samples. Okay, so this is our, let's add some EQ. 8 band EQ is good. Watching this tutorial sometimes becomes so boring, so I can understand how boring it is. But yes, at the end we are going to make something amazing. I'm basically making some space, this space over here. I'm making some space for rest of the samples to be added. The if you basically uh, go back to default, like if you just see where the open hi-hat is, no, this is the ride, where the ride is basically where the frequency spectrum of the ride is, you will observe that you have to basically cut off all those frequencies which are not used. So for this purpose the EQ becomes so handy. So I'm gonna be just lowering this over here, and again this here. And this is the easiest way to do this, because then you have to mess with these guys, which I don't like, because this is basically fulfilling our purpose. So yeah, you can just simply drag these three controls and make this one untouched. And if you want, you can increase it to make it more shriller, or make it come out of the mix. Yeah, okay, so let's just do the same with other samples. Oh, what happened? Okay, this is the crash. You have to do the same old thing with the crash. Till here. Let's just increase the higher area. Okay, this sounds good. I'm sure this guy is in the mid range. Yeah, this is in the mid range. So just allow those frequencies where where this percussion is playing. We have to do this because all this area is basically useless, so we have to cut off this area so that other sounds in the rhythm are basically can simply sit over here, and you can get a cleaner mix at the end. So, well, these are mixing mastering techniques. If you want to research about this in detail, you can just google or watch some tutorials. There are a number of tutorials online. So now what's this? Okay, this is again a percussion. So this will be in the mid range. Okay, this is in the lower range also, but this is not in the higher range. This is simply cut off these frequencies, and this is our snare. Why the hell is this occupying all the area over here? But still we are going to give it give it a limited area. But just cutting off the low end basically makes the snare weaker. But this will work this will work here because we have a lot of sound. So yes, it will come out of the mix. This is the only thing you need for now. This is the kick drum, the badass guy. This guy works with this guy is happy with uh, the lower region, so you should lower the higher region. I did that because the closed hi-hat which we had added with the kick will simply sit on the kick drum and will provide us the higher region. So yeah, and it will also sound good if you just simply play with it. Now just EQ the clap. So I removed the higher area over here. Just make the low. Sorry, I removed the lower area over here, and let's just make the higher area a little louder. This looks snappy. So what's this? This is our cute little closed hi-hat. So yeah, this will play in the higher region, obviously. Well, these are all fundamentals of sound. If you are a science student, you will better understand what I'm trying to do over here. I'm just playing with the frequencies. This guy is making the mix muddy, so I'm gonna be using Nicky Romero's kickstart for that purpose. This guy, you know, adds that pumping effect, that side chaining effect. So this will sound something like this. This will cut off this area and will give a very snappy feel when you hear it in the mix. So yeah, now this will come out of the mix. Okay, so we have our master mix ready. One thing, the master channel is still red, so there is something in the mix which is increase in which is coming, which is basically coming out of the 0 decibel range, so you have to correct that. So let's just mix this guy again. I guess it is the kick. Yeah, it's done. Let's just simply make a bass line also. So let's see how our progression is working with that. So let's just add silent for that purpose. Here is our silent plugin. I am using 32 lives in order to convert this silence from 32 bits to 64 bits so that my Ableton can read that. So let's just simply select the big bass line, which I have used in my earlier tutorial on FL Studio. Let's just give the keyboard output to silent. So you have it. Let's just check where our percussions were on. What key were they on? C sharp. Okay. B and C sharp. So it is recommended to, you know, basically add a bass line to C sharp note or a B note. B3 is bad. B2. Let's just modify silent. Okay. Let's just increase the length to 4 bars. Uh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's just make this lower. No, 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 no. Okay. So you have a good progression over here. In my previous tutorial, I showed you guys how you can basically perform this technique, sidechain compression. So I'm going to be using that over here by the plugin Kickstart. Because you don't need compressor everywhere. Kickstart can also basically cut off the that starting volume of the bass line in order to fit the drum in. So yeah, it works here. Also, you need to add some EQ. Some EQ is very necessary. Now let's make some variations. This is our drum beat. Command D 4 times. Just keep the kick. In second one, no, delete the second one and hit Command D air and add some claps. uh, Command D again. uh, okay, these are the variations which I'm using in order to basically start with a song. It's totally up to you, it's your creativity, you can do anything. I'm just showing you guys, I'm just giving you a little bit of insight of what we are going to do. So this is our cake, just simply drag it over here. Command D 4 times, no, not 4 times, 4 times is so long. Let's make that 1 time only. Again, Command D. This is a very rough tutorial, rough rough mix. So this will do for you. Now you can basically get an idea of what we are working with. So yeah, we have our little mix ready. Let's mix the bass line. Okay, one thing, when you are simply playing the kick, I recommend you guys to add this hat, because we have removed the higher end from the kick. Also, this looks nice in the mix. I recommend you to lower the hi-hat volume, or just remove this for now. And the track is done, thanks to Ableton. Okay, thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button right here, right in front of you, and also like this video. Also leave a comment if you want to know something about mixing and stuff. Thanks for watching the video.